Now we see about some line commands, and let's talk about more into 3.4. More into 3.4.
Okay.
You see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So 3.4 is nothing but a DS list. That means we need to give a dataset name here. Okay. Dataset name without a quotes. If you don't know the exact dataset name, you know the partial qualifiers, then you can give a star. So batch 10 dot star. So like this, we can give a some partial naming convention like so one qualifier I know, but I don't know the rest of the qualifiers. I can give a batch 10 dot star like this. Press F3 to come back. Now give the complete dataset name or else part of the dataset name and a dot star. Okay. This is called a DS list, dataset list utility. And most of the actions we do from DS list itself. Now, so we have some line commands. Line commands in DS list. Here, it's a DS list, dataset list. Okay. Line commands. The command what we give in the left side here is called a line command. The command what we give is called a command level command. This is called a command prompt. Can you see this command prompt? The commands what we give in a command prompt is called a command level commands. And the command what we give in the left side, okay, in the line is a line command. Yes, tell me.
Nothing.
Okay. No, voice is very low. Is it my voice lower? So line commands in DS list. So what are the various line commands available in the DS list? So this is called a DS list. In that we have line commands, and we can use I information. The line commands available in a DS list. Let me write it here first. I, S, D, or else R, D, Q, browse, view, edit, and then these are all the various line commands, and also free, Z. I for information. I want to know whether it's a PS or a PDS. If it's a PS, I want to know it's a pixel length or a variable length file. I want to know block size. I want to know what is the memory allocated. Such a information I want it. So what I go, information of the data set. So I can see a lot of information here. What is the volume serial? What is the organization? Volume serial anyhow we can see from here also. But if you want to see more information about the data set, you I. So we can find organization. There's a PS or PDS. PO for PDS. PS is for the PS. Physical sequential file. Okay. PDS is a partition data set. Now record format FB. Record length, record block size, primary space, secondary space, and allocated space. Allocated extents. So used space. What is allocated? What is used? 10 tracks are allocated. Only one extent. One primary extent is allocated, which is the 10 tracks. And what is the used tracks?
Zero. Zero means not used anything.
I did not edit the file at all. There's nothing written in the file at all. So it's a 0 tracks. So such a information we can find it from the I information. Let's see what is the short information. See here, I'll give a I information, and see the difference between a short information and information. There is no directory blocks information given here. In a information, it is giving a directory blocks, but in a short information, It's not giving a directory blocks. That's the only difference. There's no much difference. Mostly we go with the I. We never use a S. S is for a short information, and I is for the information. If you want to see when was this file created, you can see it from here. For example, let me go to the other screen. Demo.cobol. This was created in 2014, 0531. So when do you, what do you see, how do you see that file creation date? Give the I information. This is one of the question. How do you see the file creation date?
Give I.
Give information. Okay, I is information, so that we can find the creation date. And reference date means when did you see that last time? Yes, I am seeing it now. Today is a reference date. So if you create a file with expiration date, there is an option expiration date while creating the data set. Generally, we don't give it. I'll show you here.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, any option like today is how many created data?
No,
How
no
to
such
see?
option. We need to write some Rex tools for that to get the data sets that are created in today's execution. There are some Rex tools. We can find it. If you give a high level qualifier, then it will going to find out all the data sets and it will see the creation date and it will match with your today's date. Then it will get the records. It will get the data set names. So we need to write some simple logic for that. We need to write some small program in a Rex. Rex is a programming language used in the mainframe for automation. For an automation.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Fine. So hope you understand the difference between I and S. S is a short information. In R, rename. For example, I want to rename it. I'm giving R here. It is asking for the new file name. I'm giving it to. Hit enter. So give R. It is going to ask you a new file name. See, here we can see ISPF library. Never use this. It has only 3 qualifiers. But other partitioned are sequential data sets. So you have 2 options. Either give the data set name here or here. Better always give it here. Okay. No, I did not change it actually. Rename. I pressed F3 without changing it. Now I hit enter. Here. File name 2. The EMP file is now renamed as a EMP file 2. Guys, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Simple, very simple. Rename a data set and delete a data set. Delete a data set. And very important note: if you delete a data set, you cannot recover it. Only for the production data sets, there will be recovery process available. But in a test environment, personal data sets and all cannot be recovered. If you are deleting it, be cautious. Be cautious. If you delete a data set, you can't recover it. Okay. I'm deleting it. Is a delete. It will ask you a confirmation. If you really want to delete, press enter to confirm the delete. Press enter to confirm it. For example, if you don't want to delete it, press F3. Dataset not deleted. Can you see that? If you want to delete it, you D and hit enter once again. It is deleted, but it is still showing here. So if you want to see the latest refreshed dataset list, refresh. This is a line command. It's not a line command. It's a command level command. Refresh. Can you see that? Refresh. Now it is removed. Guys, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Rename a dataset, delete a dataset. deleting a dataset is very dangerous activity. That's why it is asking a confirmation before you delete it. Okay. Once the dataset is deleted, you cannot recover it. Browse, view, edit. So what are these? First of all, we go to some 3.2. See here, I'm going for a browse. If it is a PDS, it will show you member list. If you browse a PDS, it will show you member list. It's like a folder. We can't browse a folder. We can browse the notepad of a folder. Yes or no? We can browse a Word document of a folder. We cannot browse the folder. Similarly here, if you use a browse, it will show you member list. In a PDS, browse, view, edit. Okay, it will take you within the PDS. Then, if you want to see, I'm already in the edit mode. Can you see that? I entered into the PDS in the edit mode. Yes or no? Now, if I place my cursor here on the program name and hit enter, it will be going into the edit mode. Whatever the mode we enter, while entering into the PDS, the same mode is applicable for the member also. I place my cursor and I hit enter. Now, what is the mode here?
Edit.
Edit. But if you want to change the mode, once you enter here, within the PDS, if you want to change the mode for a member, you can also change it. You can go for a browse, you can go for a view, you can go for edit. So by default, it's edit. If you place the cursor and hit enter, it will take you into the edit mode. But if you want to change the mode here, you can go into the view mode. You can go to the browse mode. So what is the difference between these modes? So if you go to the edit mode, if you make some changes, for example, like this, I modified it. Is that I modified it. Accept right was there, dot was there. Now I changed it to is initial program and a dot. Leave out what I am changing. What is the meaning of this is initial program and all? Leave about it. But I'm changing this member. Yes or no? I'm editing this member. I made some changes in this program. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Sir.
when I press F3, it will be automatically saved. Right? So if you go into the edit mode, if you make some changes, it will be automatically saved when I press F3. But when you go to the view mode, for example, here I'm putting a dot and I'm removing it. I made some changes. Can you see that data changes cannot be saved in a view session? It cannot be changed. It's saying that. Do you understand? So you can make some changes. You can make some changes. Okay. And the changes cannot be saved. See here. Is it changed? I removed it.
No, sir.
I'm in the view mode again. I removed it. Now I'm pressing F3. It is saying that press enter to confirm exit from view. No changes will be saved. So view means we can change it, but we cannot save it. Why we go for that? When you're not able to save it, why we go with the view mode? Let me show you example. Sorry. Let me show you the example. Here, I'm going in the view mode. Now I want to change all these to now I want to submit it. The changes are submitted. Can you see that? The changes are submitted. I modified this member. I modified my JCL to change the dataset name. And the changes are submitted. So let's see whether these files are created or not. Whether these files are created or not. Let's see here. Here, file 2, live 2. Is it created or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I made some changes. The changes are submitted, but I don't want to save those changes in my JCL. I want to submit my changes, but I don't want to save those changes in my member Files will be created. Those are created, no problem. But I don't want to change it. Files are created. My purpose is over. But I don't want to change these dataset names with the 2. It's already created. I don't want to make the changes. So I want to submit the changes, but I don't want to save the changes. Are you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now press F3. Let's see. Is it changed or not here? Earlier it was a batch10.source library 1 and I changed it and I submitted it. But now again it is a batch10.source library 1. That means changes are not saved. Changes are submitted and files are created. But the changes are not saved in this member. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
So when do you go for a view mode? I want to make some changes and I want to submit the changes, but I don't want to save those changes. Okay, in that case, especially we go with the view mode. And the main difference between a browse mode and a view mode. Browse mode and view mode. In a browse, we cannot make any changes. See here, I'm trying to change with the 2. It's locked. Can you see that in the bottom left corner? Can you see here? A man is showing his hands.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you see here? Arrow button left side and right side.
Yes, sir.
That means this session is locked. You need to press the left control button to release it, or else arrow buttons to clear it. For example, I'm making changes here. That means it's not this action is not supported here. That's why its keyboard is locked. Press left control button, or else. Okay, let me show you once again. And also, or else press arrow buttons. Then it will be released. That means browse means the safest mode. We cannot make any changes. Browse means we cannot make any changes. View means we can change it and we cannot save it. Edit means we can change it and we can save it. Do you understand the difference between a B, a V, and E?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you are going into others PDS, for example, you are browsing their programs, don't enter into the edit mode. Mistakenly, if you type it, for example, I'm typing top here, instead of typing top there, somewhere. So somewhere I type top here because my cursor is there, I didn't look into that, and I type top here and I press F3. It is saved. It is saved here. So when you're going into any other PDS, or else if you don't want to make any changes, go either in the view mode or in the
Browse
browse
mode.
mode. If you want to make some changes and you want to submit the changes, but you don't want to save the changes, in that case, you go to the view mode. View mode. I hope.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
In the view mode, we can edit and we can submit, right? So, what is the use of that then?
That's what. See, there is a JCL. That JCL is a some other PDS. For example, there are 2 users, user 1 and user 2. So user 1 is going to the user 2 PDS and he want a JCL, but he don't want to create a user 2's files. You want to create a user 1 files. So he makes some changes in the user 2's JCL and he submit it, but the changes will not be saved. Temporarily, I want to make some changes and then submit it. Don't you understand?
That means we can check whether the actions are happened or
This is the
not.
best example, man. This is the best example what I have given. I want to change the file names and I want to create a new dataset names. And the dataset will be created if I submit it. But I don't want to make the changes in this JCL. Let it be as an old JCL. I want to create a new files, but I don't want to change the JCL. Do you understand? Guys, all of you, others, do
Yes,
you
sir.
understand this concept?
Yes, sir.
So I don't have a JCL. Say, for example, I don't have a JCL. I'm going to, I'll be entering into others' PDS, my colleagues' PDS, and now I change my dataset names and I submit it. The changes will be submitted, but the changes are not saved in his PDS, in his member. The changes are submitted. For example, there is a program, and he has a program and it is our data sets. He is using his own data sets. I don't want to disturb his data sets, but I want to submit the JCL. Okay, so that my data sets has to be created. There is a file, there is a program. That program is taking one input file, generating one output file. So both input and output files are used by his user ID. But I want to use that JCL to create my files with my naming convention. So what I do is I go into his JCL and I make changes to the dataset names with my user ID and I submit the JCL and my program will be executed with my datasets, but I don't save it in his JCL.
What about our system, sir? What about our user?
Okay, don't go too much into that. Don't go too much into that. Okay, so we'll see all this later. Our datasets will be created. Our data, for example, my user is a user 1 and his user is a user 2. All files are created with a user 2 in his JCL. I want to use the same JCL to create my files, user 1. Do you understand? I go into his JCL, I make changes to user 2 to user 1 and I submit it. So that program will be executed to create my files with my user ID. But I don't want to save it in his member. My files will be created with my name. But the JSL is not changed. JSL is not changed. I made some changes and submitted. My changes are submitted and executed. But I don't want to make those changes permanently in his member.
It means, sir, we are copying the member with some changes.
If you copy the member, you can save it, right? If you copy his member to your PDS, you can make any changes. But I'm going into his PDS. I want to submit my changes only because I want to create all the data. Program is same, but I want to execute my JCL, okay, with my user ID. Okay, anyhow,
Yes,
we'll
sir.
see that later. It's too early, okay. But think it like this. We can make some changes and we can submit the changes, but the changes cannot be saved. Changes are submitted. With the new changes, the JSL is executed, but then I revert it back.
Yes, sir. Understood.
In such a cases, we go with the view mode, and or else I'm going to analyze some other program. I go in the view mode, no problem. Because I am a reviewer. I'm reviewing his code. I don't go into the edit mode. His code, because if I make some changes, the changes will be saved. If I press F3. So what is the best mode? View mode or browse mode. In a browse mode, we cannot make any changes. In a view mode, we can make some changes, but changes will not be saved. In an edit mode, we can change it and we can save it. Are you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Guys, if you have any doubts, please ask me. No problem. I have no problem here at all. Yeah, I understand. We are making some changes. The changes are not saved. What is the use of changing that? That's what I'm saying. I'm making some changes in the JCL and the changed JCL is submitted and the changed JSL is executed. My files are created using the JCL, but I don't want to make the changes in his member permanently. I want to revert it back. Now tell me, do you understand or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, browse, view, edit. If you go into the PS, for example, I have some sample, PS name sample.star. If you go into the PS, for example, if I edit a PS, it doesn't show you member. It will directly take you to the edit mode. It will directly take you to the view mode. It will directly take you to the view mode or edit mode or browse mode. So, but if you open a PDS, see here, if you open a PDS, it's showing a members. Again, you need to open a member. Hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
Because PDS contains a members. PS contains the data. Right. So all these options are available for both PS and PDS. Information, short information, rename, dataset, delete dataset, browse a dataset, view dataset, edit dataset. Now, this is also available. Free means, let me show you. Here, can you see that? What is the allocated tracks?
5.
5.
What is the user? Okay, let me write one data. Okay, so 1001 is my employee ID. Do you remember? I given a layout. 9 of 4. Employee number. Next employee name.
Yes, sir.
Employee name.
Employee status.
Employee name. What's the length of the employee name? 20 bytes. Length of the employee number is 4 bytes. Length of the employee name is 20 bytes. So I need to write employee status here. Active employee. And the date of joining is 2022. Okay. 0301. And the salary. Last field is the salary. Do you remember? 7 digits of integer.
7 digits.
Yes.
2 digits are
First of all, we need to give a num of for that. Okay. Num of. I'll tell you about what is the num of. I had to give a num of here. Num of. Okay. So we'll see that later. So that 7 digits of integer, 2 digits of decimal, correct?
Yes,
So if I want to give a 50,000, what is the total length here? You can see here in the bottom.
7.
7. 0, 0, 50,000. Don't give us simply 50,000. 0, 0. Leading zeros has to be given. And no need to give a period, decimal period. Actually, we have to give it like this, correct? If it's a normal convention, we give it as a 50,000 as a 50,000 dot 00. But we should not give a dot here. But program can understand it as a dot there. So because the layout is a 9 of 7, V means assumed decimal 99. We have to enter data like this. 7 digits of integer and 2 digits of decimal. Okay, let's come back here. The information. What is the allocated user tracks?
1.
What is the allocated tracks?
5.
5.
If you want to release the memory at this moment, okay, use a F. Free the space, free space. The space that is extra space that is allocated but not utilized, it will be released. When you want to edit the data, again it will create it, no problem. See here, information. There are 5 tracks. And then secondary tracks are 2. So it has allocated 5 tracks. And then 1 track is utilized. Now I use a F, free space. That means the space is going to be freed. Excess space that is allocated but not utilized. 5 tracks are allocated, but only 1 track is utilized. Yes or no?
Yes.
Sir.
Now give free. F means free. Okay. Now see that information. What is allocated?
1.
1.
1.
What is used?
1.
1.
That is the main difference. Okay. Okay. So generally we don't use a free here. We don't use a free command here. But while creating, for example, I'll tell you one scenario. This is important interview question actually. So I have input file. I'm creating output file. Okay. So my input file, I'm reading my file in the COBOL program. There may be million records in my program. There may be 1,000 records in my program. So I have given it here, for example, 10, 5. 10, 5. So assume it has allocated 10 tracks. My program, my JSL allocated 10 tracks, but today's run, it is having only some 3 tracks of information. So my file is written with the 3 tracks, but file is allocated with a 10 tracks. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
File is allocated with the 10 tracks, but program utilized only 3 tracks. In that case, if you use a comma RLSC, it is going to be released in the access space. For example, for safer side, I have given 100 cylinders. For example, I have given 100 cylinders. See that? I given 100 cylinders, 100, 50. I'm assuming a lot of data may come, but I didn't get much data here in this run. Okay, so in that case, 100 cylinders are allocated, but only 2 cylinders of data is received today. So allocated is 100 cylinders, but utilized are 2 cylinders. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
in that case, if you use an access parameter like a RLSC, that's going to release the access space that is created but not utilized. Okay, it is while creating the data sets itself, but if you give F, it is after creation of the data set. If you want to remove the excess space, you give F here. Generally we give RLSC. That's why we never get this situation to release the excess space. But if the data set is created with the excess space but not utilized, okay, if you want to remove it after creation of the data set, using a 3.4 option, use a option F. F is nothing but a free the excess space, release the excess space that is created but not utilized. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
See, for a safer side, I got a 10 bottles of water, but I utilized only 2 bottles. I'll return it back. Similarly here, the excess space is allocated but not utilized. So we can release that space either with a release parameter in the JSL itself or else option F in the 3.4. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
Let's come back. If you want to write some more data, for example, I have freed the access space. For example, here, I freed the access space. If you want to create it again, it will allocate it. No worries. Then, Z, compressed data set. And what is meant by compression? Let's see here. The information. How many tracks are allocated?
35.
30.
What is our tracks utilized?
24.
24.
Let's see. 24 tracks are utilized. I'm giving Z here, compress. That means, I'll tell you. For example, if some members are deleted, say for example, some members are deleted from this data set, and it's not going to release the space. It's not going to release the space until you give it dead. If you delete some members in the PDS, it will not release the space immediately after you delete the after you delete the members. Only for the PDS, this command is applicable only for the PDS. All these parameters options are available for both PS and PDS. All these options are available for both PDS and PS, but this option is available only for the PDS. Compress PDS. So let's see. It is utilized. It has utilized 24 tracks, but in fact, it's not the actual value. Let's see here. Compress. You can see that X system means it's running. If you see X system here, that means it's running. The command is running. You cannot do any action when you see the X system here. It should not take this much time. There is something wrong with my system. I'm extremely sorry for that. Oh, a mistake. Okay, leave it. I'll pick my mainframe. That's why I'm not giving this mainframe to anyone. It is having some problems. I'm giving the other mainframe system to you, but unfortunately, I have no option here. I don't have another mainframe at this moment.
So we can use F for PDS and PS both, right?
F is for both PDS and PS, but
Yeah. So
one second. Some options are not working in this mainframe. I don't know. I need to create a new version. Maybe next time when I execute it, I'll take a new version. Yeah, let me boot the mainframe. It may take 2-3 minutes. No problem. So Z is for compress. I'll tell you. A PDS is having 10 members. Assume it like this. 10 members. Then assume each member is taking a one track. It's not a rule. Actually, it's not a real. But I'm assuming each member is taking a one track for a simple calculations. Okay. Each member is taking a one track. So what's the total tracks utilized here? 10 tracks. 10 members are created and 10 tracks are utilized. Now, if I delete 5 tracks, so 5 members. 5 members are deleted. But it will still have a 10 tracks of memory. The 5 tracks are not going to be released. If you delete 5 members, okay, the tracks will not be released. The memory will not be released. Even though you delete the member, the memory will not be released. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
So if you use as Z, option Z, compress, it is going to release the memory occupied by the deleted members. Memory occupied by the deleted members. So compress dataset to release a memory occupied by deleted members. Unless until you give a compress, it will not release the memory. Are you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Now,
yes, sir.
I got a mainframe. Let me go back. And we have two more options. U for uncatalog and C for catalog. So information, short information, rename, delete. Very important note. Rename and delete can also be given in 3.2. Did you see this options in the 3.2?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have any deleted data. Then any option for recycle bin, flashback, या फिर rollback, anything else?
I don't understand your question. Could you please repeat it?
Sir, I use a delete command D,
Mm-hmm.
and I have deleted a data
Mm-hmm.
from the table. Like so, any delete,
Mm-hmm.
any store like recycle bin, flashback, या फिर any storage,
To recover back?
rollback, something like.
No, that's what I told. If you delete a data set, it cannot be recovered. But in the production environment, if some data sets are deleted, there is a storage management team. They can use some techniques to recover it. But in a test environment, if you delete anything, it will be permanently deleted. That's why we should be cautious while deleting the data sets.
Okay, sir.
If you are not sure, like take a backup of that file into another name and then delete the original one. At least you'll have a safe side, right?
Yes.
That's the only thing we do. If you're deleting it and you have a doubt whether it can be deleted or not, in that case, take a backup with a different name, .bkup, dataset name .bkup, and delete the original one. If someone asks you, so why did you delete it? You can recover it back from the backup, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if you have any doubts that it can be deleted or not, in that case, take a backup.
Sir, if we backup any file, so it will take same space or compressed space.
One second, one second. Yeah, there's something wrong with my mainframes. Sorry for that. It's not take my instructions. So I need to delete my file and then restore it. It takes some more time. Just leave it. Let's come back here. Okay. It's already 11:30. Yeah, I have an interview at we need to join before 10 minutes, 11:50. Yeah. So I need to screen the candidate before I get this. I think we can wind up this at this moment. Do you have any questions here?
Yes, sir. Sir, if you create any backup, so it will take same memory or
Yeah,
compressed file.
for a backup file, you can also create a, you have to create a backup file. You have to create a backup file and then we need to take a backup. You need to copy the data. So while creating a backup file, you can create with the same memory or you can create with excess memory. That's your wish.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So backup means it's not like a command. Okay. So we take a backup using a JCL or using a 3.3, option 3.3. So did you see on option 3.3, if you want to create a backup, what it is asking, do you want to allocate it or do you want me to allocate it?
Yes, sir.
Allocate it using existing attributes or do you supply allocation attributes? It is asking a question like that. Allocate using a existing file. In that case, it will allocate with the same attributes. If you want to give allocation attributes, option 2 in that panel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's how we create. I'll catalog it. Yeah,
Thank
you
you,
can
sir.
ask me some questions if you want, because we have 10 more minutes, hardly. See, I have seen only 20 members in the last class. May know others, when are you coming? Those who did not come in the last class. Because
From
tomorrow,
Thursday.
yeah, tomorrow it's again a offline class, not online. Yeah, go ahead, please. Please give me your explanation why you didn't come, those who did not come. Do you have any concerns? I've seen like 35 to 40 people in a online, but only 21 are present in the last class. So are you taking more time to come here?
Sir, on Thursday I will come, sir, because
No problem. So you'll be missing one class
yes, sir. On
tomorrow.
Thursday.
No problem. What else?
Thank you.
But please try to come by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. So take 1 or 2 days time, no problem. But don't make it too much of delay. No need to give an explanation.
Sure, sir.
Whoever is coming late, like try to come fast, because see, I told you this is not sufficient. 3 months is not sufficient for any course. If you put up experience, not only for experience, for even for fresher, not only mainframe, any course, that's not sufficient. Learning a subject in 3 months, unless until it's a tool. Tool doesn't have much depth into that. Okay, only options will be there, and we need to remember a lot of options, a lot of situations. That's a different thing. Okay, but if you want to learn a language, 3 months may not be sufficient. The entire application, all the modules may not be sufficient. So if you miss the classes again, you'll be in trouble. And please inform your friends if anyone is not attending this SQL. No problem. I'll teach the SQL once again. So the classes are important from here. GUI's navigation, then COBOL, then JCL, then VSAM, then embedded SQL and SQL in the DB2, then CACS. So it takes by end of the April, I wanted to complete it. So I want to complete it by end of April. But I'll be placing you in the start of April or maybe in the mid of April. Okay, if you have any friends, please inform them. I'm okay with to join. I allow them to join here in the middle of the course, like because SQL is completed, no problem. I'll teach it again in a backup classes. Thank you very much. That's all for today.
Thank you, sir.
And if you want to find any hostels,